Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Thomas Chuck channel. Today, me and Mr. Zig are going to try to solve the Jeffrey Epstein case. Mr. Zig, how are you doing?
Doing great, Thomas. How you doing, buddy?
Good, real good.
Good.
Everything been going good since we've been down, not broadcasting any?
It's been a great summer.
Great
Not
summer.
too bad.
Good
Not
deal.
too bad.
Getting a lot of golf in, are
I'm
you?
getting a lot of golf in.
Good deal.
A little bit of work and a lot of golf.
There
Just
you
the
go.
way I like it.
Yes. Heck yeah. Can't. Retirement. What a job. Huh?
What a job. Well, this is, if I knew it was this hard,
Yeah.
I would have done it years ago.
Yeah. But Mr. Zig, have you ever seen any of these things about Jeffrey Epstein and the whatever's going on now? I mean, I don't get how he was. There was a file, a client list, Bongino, Patel, Bondi, before they become who they are now in the government. We're going to talk about, release them, get them out, get the whole thing out, get everything out. And now, ta-da, there's nothing.
And then there's nothing. They almost made it sound like it was a political, idea of vote for us. When we get in there,
and we will get
you're
the truth out.
You're gonna find out. Yeah, everything that happened. Here we are, 6 months into the Trump administration. And what do we know
Nothing.
about the file? Nothing.
Same thing we knew under
Joe. Sleepy Joe.
Yeah. We know the same. But now, I mean, here's what's really, I don't know if you've seen where now Trump says we want to release the grand jury files.
Right.
On what, and it's like, well, why? Wait a minute. So you got to have a judge to sign off on that, which and they, knowing them, I mean, they're all politicians, even Trump's a politician now.
Yeah.
So knowing Joe, he probably went to a Democratic judge knowing that I want to release that. So that Democratic judge, he's going, hell no, we're not going to release them. Because you want it released, so I'm not going to release it.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that, what they're trying to do there. Bondi, you have the file, release the damn thing. You don't have to have a judge.
Are they trying to sway us to look at something else?
Exactly.
Like the shiny thing's over here, but look over here, and while we're over here doing this,
Right. Always.
Yeah.
That's all politicians are about.
I've heard Pam Bondi, on TV say, I have the list right on my desk.
Right on my desk. Well, what she meant was she had the file on her desk.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you see that spin?
Well. Okay.
She tried. Yeah. And Alan,
be transparent. What happened to that?
Yeah.
Be transparent.
Be transparent.
We told Joe, be transparent all the time.
Trump's
turn now.
Right.
I'm trying to play fair here. Just say, hey, put it out there. Or are you hiding something?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you are. I mean, how we are as humans.
And the road that they have, the rabbit hole that they have started down, is making them look like okay.
Look bad.
I mean, a lot of the Republicans have said that if Trump was on that list, then don't you think Joe would have released it? Democrats would have went out of their way to make sure that got out so that the public would know what kind of man Trump was and that he was into young girls and stuff like that. They would have went out of their way. Hell, they lied about the Russia collusion now that you're hearing.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, Joe didn't want to release it because there's obviously Democrats on the list.
The collateral
Trump
damage.
Obviously doesn't want to release it because there's Republicans
Yeah.
on the list.
He's on the list.
There's so they both are stonewalling,
Right.
and just kind of dragging it. This isn't going away.
No.
Democrats have found something new to hang on to. Here now we want it released.
Yes.
And
Yeah. So Megyn Kelly had an interview, and going over all of the. I believe this is the clip going over all of the things that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino had said before they become the people that they are now in the government.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was having an interview with a guy, and let's take a look at this and see, just look it over and see
what is happening at the FBI. Okay, because this audience knows I do not have a conspiratorial bone in my body. I truly don't. Like I reject virtually all of them. I just don't. I'm just not like minded toward believing in virtually any of them. Probably too much so, to be honest. But this is weird. Something weird is happening at the FBI, or so it would seem. So Kash Patel sat down with Bret Baier for special report last night, meaning Wednesday evening, and they got into a bit of like what's happening with the Epstein files. Where are they? Listen to this.
There are.
The Epstein thing, you dealt with Maria, you said, as far as you know, he killed himself.
I'm telling you, he killed himself.
The other thing on the internet is the Epstein files. What's the answer to that?
The answer to that is the same as everything else. I'm not going to withhold information from the American public ever, but I'm also not going to rush to get it out there in a format in which they can't rely on it. So on the Epstein matter or any other matters, we are diligently working on that, and it takes time to go through years of investigations, years of political maneuvering, and years of cover-up to get the American people what they deserve. And that's what I'm going to give them on everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
But why is he saying it's going years and years and years of documents and investigations and it's right, it's done.
That's his idea.
Since 2019 is when he killed himself.
Yeah.
That's what, 7 years?
Going on 7 years.
7?
Yeah, I mean, that was his idea of just
prolonging it.
Just like, it's going to take me time to look through all of this. And by the time I get through all this, which might be 2 or 3 years from now, Trump will be on his way out. You'll kind of forget about this story, maybe, and they just want to sweep it under the rug.
Right.
That's what I feel like. I mean, you have it. Like I said, I believe they have the information.
Yeah. It was on Bondi's desk just waiting for her, but Kash now has to go through it all.
Yes.
You have to go through it all and make sure.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Well, it's already been
It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Not a good look
for
at all.
the Republicans at all.
To especially be on our side of things, of podcasting, and saying, open the files, get it out there, stop protecting these people, get the rich, let's get the rich.
But that's what they're doing.
And now
they're protecting people, and
right.
He's not going to release them. You think he's ever going to release them? Did you hear that? I mean, he just told you it's going to take a long, long time before we can.
Before I can investigate the investigation to find out
of
what
the
I
investigator,
can
and
yeah.
If that.
And
he'd make a hell of a good politician too.
Right. Right. Oh yeah. That's what he is.
Yeah.
But there again, the rabbit hole that Trump is taking it down.
Yep.
Now we're not going that, but my attorney general has the file. She can release the file, but no, now we're going to go down the rabbit hole getting the grand jury information.
Yeah.
And then a Democratic judge going to say hell no because Trump wants it. No.
Not going to release
and now,
it.
Hey, Trump's going to step back and say, hey,
my hands are tied. I can't do anything about this.
You've seen what
you got to go by. Yeah.
The damn woke judges will not release the grand jury information.
Yeah.
So, it's just making Trump look real bad.
Sure it is.
It is.
Sure it is.
So let's go on.
So that's him talking about Epstein. He said he believes Epstein committed suicide and that they're going through the files to make sure we get everything. This, of course, comes on the heels of Pam Bondi calling all these influencers to the White House and giving them files saying this is everything, only to find out that everything in those files was already publicly released and there was absolutely nothing new in them. Okay. Then she said the FBI's got documents we didn't know about, so we're going to get to the bottom of them. This is months ago. And now he says they're going through them. I mean, it's been a while. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not saying he's lying. I just don't know what's happening here. I haven't figured it out. So Dan Bongino goes on Fox and Friends and here he is talking about Epstein, SOT 12.
There is nothing in the file at this point on the Epstein case, and there's going to be a disclosure on this coming shortly. We are working through there is video. That is something the public does not.
There's video of him killing himself.
No, not the actual act, but the entire MCC Bay, there was only one camera. There's video that when you look at the video, and we will release, that's what's taken a while on this, we are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans. You're going to see there's no one there but him.
Right.
There's just nobody there. So I say to people all the time, if you have a tip, let us know.
Did you see the video?
No,
that
I have
he's
not.
talking
No,
about?
no.
Yeah.
They have video of what him in his cell.
No.
No.
Oh,
What
God,
video
no.
is he talking about?
Yeah, well, I'll show it to you.
Okay.
We'll get a little bit rundown on it. But yeah, there is a video of Epstein's cell block.
Cell block.
Yeah,
Okay.
looking at the prison guard
Uh-huh.
seating where he sits. But there is no on the cell block that those cameras weren't working. weren't working.
They were working.
But you know,
Wow.
hey, they have come leaps and bounds, because if you go back in Joe Biden's presidency,
Uh-huh.
there were no video at all, because the videos weren't working. Now these guys have come up with a video. At least there is one part where it shows, they say that Epstein is talking to his lawyer and a guard following them. I seen that.
Okay, but what's that video going to tell us?
It ain't gonna tell you a damn thing.
He was alive
It
right
just-
then? Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I see that. Okay.
Yeah, what
So
time
what
we actually seen him go by alive.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that what really threw controversy into that, I imagine you've heard, is the 1 minute disappeared.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
From 11, it went 11:59 midnight, and now they don't understand. Yeah.
And what happened in that minute?
Where did that minute go? Well, it recycles itself. And
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it does that every night.
I have a camera at home that's better than what they
Yeah.
have in prison. How can
Right.
that be?
Yeah. So yeah, they say these things have been up since the 90s. The cameras.
Oh, come on.
So-
Oh my God. Oh.
But even at that, even at that, you would think that okay, it elapses, starts over at midnight every night.
Yeah.
Oh, where did it go? Where's that minute? What happened in that minute? You would think that they would say, here, show more videos. Here, look on this date, midnight.
What it did the same thing. Sure.
Look at
Sure.
that.
This is what happens. Yeah.
Nothing. Still no.
It's hard to believe them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's hard.
And
to believe
even
these
people that are on our side,
I know,
who are
but-
going to get in there and clean it up and
but
show everything.
I know it.
It's all
Obviously,
politics.
they're all
It is
politics.
all
They're all
politics.
damn corrupt. Thomas.
Deep
I
state.
mean, yes, and it's
It is deep state, because I think that they got in there and they realized that, oh, Jesus Christ, look who's on this list.
yes,
Yeah, and
yeah.
this
Mhm.
bitch here, he could take us out, and they.
No kidding.
No-
Yeah. Oh
no-
yeah. My
nothing
God,
would
this,
be pointed
this
at
could,
him,
This could
so-
ruin the whole party here
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
threw this out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Crazy.
They're all corrupt and
Yeah.
sneaky, and they're all watching each other's back. And there's
Yep.
there's a lot that goes on that
That's-
we don't know.
Right.
Behind the scene talking and and this
Right.
and it's hard to believe what you hear sometimes. Man can get up there and say, "We have it." My God, I've watched enough sports where they can throw the video on in 2 seconds of what
Yeah.
happened. You're telling me
Yeah.
we've got to clean up the video and we've got to do this, and that is just double talk like I've never heard. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah. Well, they have released the video, but like I say, now all of a sudden there's that controversy of that minute.
1 minute.
Where did that
so
minute
we're going
go?
to talk about
Why?
this 1 minute and drag this shit out. I
Yes.
mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Instead of coming, look, people, boom.
Yeah.
Here on July 2nd, boom, it did it. August, of last
Exactly.
year.
Yeah,
boom,
this
boom.
is what we're talking about. This
Yeah,
is what happens.
This is why
This is what
it
happens.
does
This is why
this.
we have this
Okay.
issue. Okay, then I make that makes it a little more believable.
Yes.
But when you just go, well, there's a minute there we can't.
Oh yeah,
Then
it
it
just
justifies-
restarts itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's all it does.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
all right, let's.
Maybe every camera does that. I don't know. I'd have
in the
to hear
prison
from a
system,
video
I
guy,
guess.
and and
In
I'd
the
have-
prison system.
in the
I
prison
guess it does.
system, it does. So
Yeah.
That's the time to break out.
Yeah.
That minute, if you can get out.
Yeah. And now they also said something about the cameras on his cell block was not recording, was not working, but they were streaming. I don't know what that means, but they were streaming. I have no idea. I've heard.
Well, thanks for
say
bringing
that.
me in this morning. I'm losing more faith on society here and our politicians
Yeah.
by the minute here.
Everyone should know a politician. They are not going to. I've in several podcasts before. I have always said a career politician will take care of a career politician. The other thing that I would say about Dan there is that the rumor is that after the meeting with Brett Baer, Cash Patel, Dan, the next day Dan didn't come into work. He's thinking about quitting now. Him and Bondi is into it, and then Cash Patel's supposed to be pissed off too that he may step down. So they're both looking to resign. So,
yeah.
But there's no evidence at all that someone killed him. So that's carried on.
All right.
But there's no DNA, there's no audio, there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects, there's no accomplices, there's no tips, there is nothing. If you have it, I'm happy to see it. There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it.
All right, Glenn, what's happening? Because it doesn't take that long to clean up, quote, clean up surveillance video from one camera of one cell. I'm not sure what's happening here. I trust Dan. I don't know Cash as well, but I trust Dan. But I'm not sure we're getting the straight scoop.
Well, I think that's the key context, is that the two people kind of being out front on this are Dan Bongino and Cash Patel, who over the last 4 years as kind of pundits and guests on podcasts and the like, have been among the most popular people in the MAGA movement, the most trusted people in the MAGA movement, and also the most militant when it came to the Epstein files. You can find tape of both of them, especially Cash Patel, saying it is an outrage that we don't have these files. The FBI director could release them today. What is he hiding? So that created an expectation that when Cash Patel and Dan Bongino got into that exact office, FBI director, deputy director, that they would then rectify what they had been so vociferously complaining about. Here we are 5 months later, and we don't actually have anything. The second thing is, I'm not somebody who really aggressively doubted that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. I could see somebody who lived a life of luxury and living the high life, facing certain life in prison and deciding it's not worth it and trying to kill themselves. I don't really understand why people kill themselves in a federal prison, but it's happened before. But if they have proof that he killed himself, why don't they release it? That was the whole idea of transparency. And okay, if there's a video that needs work, how about the documents and the file they said they seen? But here's the biggest issue making with the Epstein file. The question that has always hovered over the Jeffrey Epstein case was he got that sweetheart deal back in 2010 for trafficking minors for prostitution from Alex Acosta. He barely went to prison, got like a sweetheart deal. And Alex Acosta said afterward, I was told he was intelligence and therefore to leave him alone. So the real question, aside from like, are there people who participated with Jeffrey Epstein that we haven't heard of yet? And I'm not sure of that. We've had a lot of client lists released and the like. Was Jeffrey Epstein working with or for foreign intelligence agencies or domestic intelligence agencies? And if they have 1,000 or 5,000 videos of Jeffrey Epstein having sex with minors, feel free to go watch those. That's not what people are interested in them. Why can't they first release those documents about who else, to whom he sex trafficked children, given that nobody has been charged with receiving the sex trafficking, only Epstein with the sex trafficking? Those are the kinds of things that I don't think we're getting very persuasive answers from. And Pam Bondi's excuse, oh, we have all these sex tapes to go through. That's not relevant to either of those questions. Go through those sex tape over years, but in the meantime, give us these relevant documents that you promised very vocally that when you got into power, you would give us.
It's starting to smell, for sure. Like when they both gave a joint interview, Dan and Cash, and they were like, no, he committed suicide. They looked like hostages. They just, and they have the disadvantage of us having heard countless hours of Dan in particular speaking extemporaneously and from the heart, and he is an honest guy, but there's certain limits to how honest you can be when you're holding these positions. And I had the same reaction that a lot of people had, which is he looks like he's not being fully transparent. What do they know that they don't want us to know? And this is the best theory I've heard, what you just espoused, that it's something having to do with Jeffrey Epstein's ties to intelligence. And that would be something they'd have to keep covered potentially. And they can't say it. They can't be
well,
as
it's something we
transparent
should
as
know,
they'd
though.
like to be.
They would,
Yes.
they would keep it covered, but it's something we should absolutely know. And
Absolutely,
I think that's
but they won't tell
problem.
that. What if he's
Exactly.
our asset, right? If he's our asset, like they're not going to run around saying he was our asset.
Or an ally's asset, or we should just know that is I mean, Jeffrey Epstein committed some of the most grotesque crimes involving huge numbers of American elites over many years. We should know the answer to that question. Was this an intelligence operation at the beginning or at some point in the middle? And they have those answers and we don't.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now here's a second point on the subject of the pipe bombs, which they announced earlier this week. They're going to
So here's the other question that I have is, Epstein's been dead since 2019.
Right.
And that all came out, what they say, back in 2010 is when he was arrested. So, Biden gets out of office, and now reporters and his staff, they're all writing books about his decline while he was in office, but we didn't see it when it was actually happened. But now that we're out of office, hey, we seen that he was declining. My question is that the victims, you have not heard one word or one utter word or written down anything of, my book says that here are the people that I slept with.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
The victims are just gone.
Go. Yeah.
And the one lady that, and I cannot think of her name right now, but that had an affair or whatever happened with her and Prince Charles or Prince Andrew.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Well, she was from Australia, and she went back to Australia to live, and I guess that she was going through a divorce and committed suicide.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And but she was about to lose her 3 children, her husband, leaving. And so they say she committed suicide. Now, in the beginning, I seen a clip. In the beginning, her family, she did herself in. And then later on, her dad decided that, no, he believes there was something else going on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't believe she committed suicide. So let's keep the story going. But you
Well,
have
it's a
not
good
seen,
story, but
yeah.
I mean, there's,
But you have not seen any book, anything written of the victim saying, "Here's who I seen at the party."
exactly.
You don't even get that.
You don't get
You
that,
don't even get that side. The victim side.
which is hard to believe.
Yeah, and you
Really,
know
in this day and
that-
age,
because they were after the kids that live a hard life. Parents split.
Right.
Not
right.
much money in the family, so let's get
Mhm.
those girls and bring them into our fold. And now here's a girl, grown up woman now that could say, "Jesus Christ, I'm sitting on the cash cow. I
Yeah.
seen him at the party. I seen him at the party. He was there. She was there. All of these big names. I'm gonna write a book and I'm gonna make millions off of my book."
Yeah, you could write a book. I mean, of course, it turns into he said, she said, because the people at the party are going to say, "No, I wasn't
Right.
there." No, and there she's lying to sell a book. I mean,
Oh yeah, you're going
but
to
still, the
have
book
that.
would be good because
Yes.
people would like to read.
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
like
Because that would be sued. I mean, she'd be sued if she said that, this person was there and actually wasn't. Because
exactly.
apparently the fly list, they're saying that there's not actually a client list. It ain't like he put, Bill Clinton down and slept with these 3 girls, or there's nothing like that. but they know the log of the plane, and then that was some of the spin too that they had, was that, and which I guess some of it would be true. You wouldn't want to be, and they're saying like Bill Gates might be in this as well. Him thinking that Jeffrey Epstein is going to contribute to his fund, but so his name's on the list. But okay, he's on the list, so now he had to do something with the girls. He had to have had some relationship with one of these girls or two of these girls or whatever. And they're saying that that's the reason. That's the other reason why they don't want to release it, is because the innocent name people, big name people, would be, oh, yep, okay.
It'd be implied that they had something to do it too. I mean, you could release a list, and that doesn't prove they were all hanging out with youngins. I mean, it really doesn't. You say, oh yeah, I've been to. Hell, you and I could have went there one day and just stopped in for it. Said, well, hell, we're on the list, but we didn't do anything. But so you can't, unless you have actual testimony from people, like you were saying, or video of somebody being with somebody, pictures, which I'm sure there's plenty of pictures if you've got celebrities, hanging around with.
Yeah, and Dershowitz, Alan Dershowitz, he says that there is a list. He has seen the list. He knows who's been there, but since it's lawyer-client privilege, I can't say. But yeah, I know that there is a list. I've seen the list.
Yeah.
But too bad.
But why aren't they releasing it? That's the question.
Yeah.
I mean, why aren't you releasing it? What like Megyn? Speaking of Megyn Kelly, she is looking fine.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I haven't seen her in a while. But she's looking really good. But I mean, like she said, how long does it take to clean up a video on a camera? Come on. I mean, this doesn't take years and years to do, and I don't know. They're stonewalling. They're dragging it along. They're just
there's
hoping it'll go away. Which in this day and age, a lot of things just don't go away.
So this guy, he was in organized crime, and he was on the same.
Was he in prison?
Yeah, he was on the same
he was in
cell
the
block.
Cell block with
as
Epstein. Okay. So
I don't know with Epstein, but he was on that same cell block.
Okay.
And so he has some interesting.
Joined now by someone, and this is interesting, with intimate knowledge of the very jail cell Epstein died in. Michael Francis, he was a capo for the Colombo crime family in the 1980s. He served time in the exact cell where Epstein was later held. Michael, welcome back to the program. Tell us about that cell, and what do you make of these revelations that there is a minute missing from the surveillance video, Michael?
Well, listen, I spent 7 months on that tier and in those cells. And the first thing I have to say, there's no way you are able to commit suicide. There's just no way. There's no way to hang yourself. There's nothing from the ceiling. There's nothing from the bed. You'd have to be a midget and work really hard to try to hang yourself. And I don't think you can accomplish it at that point. As far as the cameras being off, I haven't experienced that. I did 8 years in prison. And I haven't experienced cameras being broken in the perfect storm of correctional officers not walking those cells. They walk in and they look in on you all the time. As a matter of fact, sometimes it's embarrassing to go to the toilet because they're walking past you and looking in the cell constantly. So I've said this from day one. I do not believe it was suicide. I can't talk about what happened to him, but I don't believe it was a suicide because you just couldn't physically do it. It would be almost impossible to do it. So that's number one.
It must be interesting, Michael. When you look at the video, though, it must be interesting because you know the area. I mean, we all look at this and it just looks like a prison, but this must look very familiar to you.
Absolutely, very familiar. And the fact that a minute is missing, look, everything around this guy, I just did a very deep dive into him, which I'll be releasing on my platform in the next several days. Look, there's no way that this person operated alone. Look, they have the videos. Alan Dershowitz recently said that he saw the client list, but because there's people that he can't, because he's an attorney, he can't, reveal what he saw. But he said he saw the client list. He's demanding that it be released. To think that there's no flight logs, that there's no client list, that the thousands of recordings that they had, because I found out for sure that he had cameras on every bedroom, recording everything, and all of a sudden all of it is gone. I mean, none of this makes sense. And look, the only reason it's important, it's not that anybody's trying to say, come on, this guy was a creep. And there was young women involved in this, young girls that were trafficked and abused. I have 5 daughters and I have granddaughters, and I just don't like it. And anybody that's involved in this should be held accountable. I recently interviewed Paul Hutchinson, who was, a major figure in the Sound of Freedom. He was one of the ones that went to rescue, I think, 51 or 52 of these young girls and young boys that were being exploited and trafficked. I mean, this has got to stop. And if these people are not held accountable, it's just going to continue. And unfortunately, it seems like it's people with power and money. It seems that, from what my investigation, that this Les Wexner was the first one that Epstein was able to bribe. And, there's a lot of stuff here that needs to come out, and it's really shameful if it doesn't. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But as far as the jail cell,
We only
no
have,
way there was a
we only
suicide.
have, I want to go back to the jail cell because you lived in that jail cell. And just real quick, again, tell me, would you have the privacy in that jail cell to take your own life?
Not only would you not have the privacy, I don't understand how you would be able to do it. You have to hang yourself from something. There's nothing on the ceiling that you can hang a bed sheet on. The bed is not that high. I mean, you have to try to lay down on the floor in some way because Jeffrey Epstein was a fairly big guy. You'd have to be a midget to even try to hang yourself. So it's not a question of not only are there cameras on are the COs walking the tier constantly, especially from what I understand, Jeffrey Epstein was on suicide watch for a while. They watch you very, very closely. Trust me on that. So I just can't buy it. I cannot buy it. I'm sorry. And I have no horse in this race other than my experience and the fact that I just couldn't see it happening.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we appreciate you coming on tonight, Mike.
But so with that, they said something that he said on the floor, tied it around, and then basically leaned over, tried to hang himself like battered. I don't know. But
it makes sense like there's nothing to tie on to the ceiling. And it sounds like the ceiling's probably pretty low.
Yeah. Low or nothing, there's just nothing up there, sprinkler or anything like
nothing.
that you can tie on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's it just makes it more unbelievable.
Yeah.
When you hear some people talk,
Yeah, it's a scary thing. I mean, to think that there are people that are going to get by with it.
General direction of where Jeffrey Epstein's being held. Now, I'm going to show this part because I've seen a lot of people already talking about this, and I do not think it's meaningful. If you watch, it's 11:58, and when it hits 11:59, it's going to skip to 12. I think that's probably just software skipping a minute. It's probably when it saves to a new file or something like that. I do not think that they waited until 11:59 to have 1 minute for somebody to do something and for them to cut that out. That just seems a little bit ridiculous, and the timing is too good. So I think that really it's just a function of the mechanics of how this works, of how the video cameras work or how the security cameras are operating. So
right here.
Hey everybody, Dr. G here. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist as well as a body language expert. And today we're going to be analyzing the behavior and body language leading up to Jeffrey Epstein's death. It's going to be from the
So this is just a view of the whole downstairs. I mean, this isn't his jail cell.
That's not a jail cell.
It's not even on the same floor as what.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as what he's supposed to be held in. But this one will tell you
So then why are they showing this?
This is their footage.
Looks like a balcony to me.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
with
That's
a railing there
that
you can stand and look over the, top of people.
Right. And then you got the one guy that comes up in black, trying to get into the door. One of the doors here. He's trying to get into.
Now, are those jail cells?
No, I don't. No, I think that's
They're
to
just...
get down. I don't know where that door goes, but I think that one is to get down to the bottom.
Are they saying he hung himself in 1 minute, Tom? Is that why they're talking about this 1 minute?
No, the 1 minute thing is because it hey, did you see that? It went. So the person they're saying the person that could have killed him could have got in at that time or something. I don't know. I don't know why they're making such a big deal out of the minute.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
I think this guy's right though. I think that's a glitch in the software system, and it just kind of jumps to.
But like I said, that would be put the rest. Show more video up here. Look, people, boom, boom. Here on this date, boom.
Yeah.
You can show.
It does it all the time.
You can show it.
You can show us the day before, the day after. This is how it works. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yep. So.
But they're not.
Yeah.
So then you question it.
Yeah.
You start asking questions.
So then more conspiracies.
Sure it does.
Yeah. So, but let's watch
TV.
this for a little bit.
Before we get started with this, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are just my opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. The Department of Justice has officially concluded that nothing nefarious happened surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's death. Now, for those of us that have been following this story for a while, it's a little bit hard to believe. The reason being is that back in 2019, they told us that no CCTV footage was captured, and that's what we're going to be watching today. That was the official line at the time. Additionally, there have been other claims. There have been claims that people have seen the list and so on and so forth, and now they're saying there isn't one. So there's a lot of inconsistencies. So what I thought we would do today is we're going to watch clips from 10 hours of footage, and I've reviewed this. So I'm taking out what I think is most significant and most interesting, and we're going to look at that. We're also going to compare it to a timeline from 2019. So in 2019, we were provided a timeline of everything that happened. We're going to see if this footage, in fact, lines up with that timeline or how closely it lines up. All right, let's just jump right in. At 7:49 p.m., we're seeing Jeffrey Epstein coming back after meeting with his attorney. You can see him right here in the orange jumpsuit. Now, he's walking with a pretty brisk pace. He's walking ahead of the officer right there. There's another officer walking behind. Nothing too notable about that. One thing that surprises me, though, is I actually thought that Jeffrey Epstein would be a lot taller than that. He doesn't look all that tall right here. But there's nothing particularly notable about how he's walking. The one thing you may be noticing is that the officer is waving his hand as they're talking, which means they're interacting right now. It looks like that the security officer walking with him is interacting and talking to Jeffrey Epstein right now. So he's being led to a prison cell that is approximately here. Now, we can't see it on camera, obviously, because it's cut off. But it gives us some idea of where people are walking and where he is, in fact, held. That's an important part of understanding the rest of the video that we're going to watch. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip ahead now. And we're going to talk about the different parts of the timeline that stand out, and we're going to look at a couple of things that are a little bit strange. Now, it was reported that at 10 p.m. they were supposed to check on Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the area you're going to want to focus on is in the back, right there. This is where the correctional officers sit. This is where they do their thing. So if you're going to see movement, it's going to be in this area. And as you can see, 10 o'clock, nobody's moving right now. Now, as you can see, it's around 10:30. There's a correctional officer that's starting to move, and they ultimately are going to go check on the Jeffrey Epstein tier, as they're calling it, that area. And so what is being reported so far is pretty consistent with what we're seeing on the video. At 10 o'clock, there was no check. At 10:30, it looks like there's some form of a check. So far, what we have seen, as you can see, the correctional officer just walked right there, that is so far consistent with what was reported. So one of the challenging parts about this is that one of the claims, and this is much harder to verify, is they say that nobody walked into that area again between 10:30 and 6:33 when his body was found. But as we're going to see, people do go back and forth to that general area. We don't know exactly where they walk, but there's not just no activity. Because when I had originally heard about this, when I read this back in 2019 or whenever it was originally released, I had figured that essentially you're going to see no security guards doing anything. People are just going to be sitting around, but that's really not the case. And they also talked about how the security guards were sleeping, and we're going to get into that because there's really just a small window when nobody was actually moving or that we didn't actually see anybody move. So there are still things about this that are raising questions, but let's keep going. But as you can see, even at 10:38, we're already seeing correctional officers walking off camera in the general direction of where Jeffrey Epstein's being held. Now, I'm going to show this part because I've seen a lot of people already talking about this, and I do not think it's meaningful. If you watch, it's 11:58, and when it hits 11:59, it's going to skip to 12. I think that's probably just software skipping a minute. It's probably when it saves to a new file or something like that. I do not think that they waited until 11:59 to have 1 minute for somebody to do something and for them to cut that out. That just seems a little bit ridiculous, and the timing is too good. So I think that really it's just a function of the mechanics of how this works, of how the video cameras work or how the security cameras are operating. So I personally do not read anything into that minute skip. Now, around midnight, they were supposed to do another check. As you can see, there is, in fact, a guard walking around right now, or at least they're standing right here. So you can see they are moving around. It's not like people are asleep right now or anything like that. There are people that are alert and awake, and they are, in fact, going to ultimately go past where the camera is to at least the general vicinity of where Epstein's being held. So as you can see right here, another correctional officer just came from that area. He's going up into this area, which I just call room 46 because that's the number on the door. It's one of those areas where you have to call to get in. He looks a little bit rushed. I don't think that's anything suspicious. Some people are just like that when it comes to opening doors that you have to call to get unlocked and that sort of thing. So right now we're getting an idea of this room because this is going to be a focus of some things later. You can also see he leaves the door wide open. Probably not a good idea. Shows that he's not really paying that much attention to what he's doing right now. One thing that I also think is interesting is how heavy the clothes that some of the people are wearing. I'm going to explain why that's relevant in a minute. One thing that the timeline didn't talk about really was anybody else that was involved here or anybody else that was on the floor. The way that it reads when you go back to the 2019 timeline is that it's just those two officers and they're the only people that we see. But as it turns out, that's not really the case. Like I said, nothing suspicious about this individual being there, but it shows that we've been given an incomplete snapshot of what that night was like. And as you can see, still plenty of people walking around. Still the officers are walking in what appears to be the general vicinity of where Epstein would have been held. So one of the things that's very interesting that it's claimed repeatedly throughout the timeline is that they didn't actually do any of the sweeps. They didn't actually go and do any sort of head counts or check who was where. And as you can see, the officers are actually getting up and walking around. It's 1 a.m. They're not asleep. That's one of the things that I kept reading was that they were asleep. Like I said, we're going to see a gap for about 2 hours starting now where we don't see anybody else moving around. But the fact that it's portrayed in a way that they were sleeping all night or that they weren't doing their duties, like they were awake, they were walking around. So even if they weren't doing all of the checks they were supposed to do, I think they're more active than many of us would have expected if you, in fact, read the timeline back in 2019. So it's around 1:03. This is pretty much the last time you're going to see anybody do anything for about the next 2 hours. So here we are at 3:14. You're seeing that one of them is up and about. They seem to be walking towards, ultimately going to be going towards the area where the inmates are held. So they're saying that they didn't do any of the counts they were supposed to do, but they are walking towards that area. That's what's so confusing about this. I guess they just went over there, signed the document or signed the chart saying that they did the head count, but then literally didn't bother looking in there. It's such strange behavior.
Well, some security outlets or companies have it to where you have to have a key, and it registers when you were at that spot.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I don't know, apparently they don't have that system here, but I know companies that have security guards that you'll see them get out, go check something, hit a key in the box.
It shows they were there at that time and they had checked
records,
it and everything. Records that they were there. Now, that guy went in that room. Did he go in there there and change clothes?
That I don't know. That
Didn't he
make
look
any
like he had a
sense.
uniform on,
Yeah,
and then he come out in his street clothes, maybe,
I
or
guess.
threw a jacket on at least, and
And was that even the same guy?
was the same guy? Then what was he throwing back in there? Was this just is this his room where he can just throw stuff back in? And that's it just seems a little weird.
Well,
I don't know what's going on there.
But like he said, what's even weirder is that the heavy clothes that they were wearing in August. You know, he had hoodie on.
Now,
Hey,
where's this facility at?
in New York City.
Could have been chilly. Maybe it got a chilly
In
August night.
August-
Maybe it had a
August
chilly
10th?
August night. You wouldn't think so. I agree, Thomas.
Well,
maybe,
boy,
maybe
he
it's
was
a little
dressed like
breezy.
it was January. Yeah. But
Yeah, no, that is, yeah.
yeah,
But,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
that's the first thing I know.
But-
He went in with his uniform on, and if that was the same guy who came out,
and that's
did
the
he
question.
change clothes? And I
That's-
didn't catch the timeline real quick. How fast did he change clothes, or
Yeah,
did he just throw?
that's-
Did he
let's-
just throw a hoodie on? And
Let's back that up.
because then he
and
started
take
throwing
a-
some bags in there, and there you go. Yeah, that's legit
Okay.
uniform, right?
Yeah, that's him in his uniform.
And that's his head is a little bit above the. Is that like a window,
Yeah.
or is that a print on the
That's just a print.
on the door?
You can also see he leaves the door wide open. Probably not a good idea. Shows that he's not really paying that much attention to what he's doing.
What
right
time
now.
was that, Tom? 12:01.
Yeah.
Okay. 12:05.
That's not the same
One
guy.
thing that I also think is interesting is how heavy the clothes
is
that
not
some
the
of the
same
people
guy.
are wearing.
No,
I'm
watch
going to
when he shut-
explain why that's relevant in a minute.
And-
One thing that
I
the
don't think it
timeline
is.
didn't talk
I
about
think that
really
guy's shorter.
was anybody
Shorter
else that
and
was
heavier.
involved here, or
Heavier.
anybody else that was on the floor. The way that it reads when you go
Let's back that up just one more
Does
time.
he shut the door?
Yes, and this guy shuts the door.
So I want to see where his head is as opposed to the door. Okay, now that's the guy going in. Look how tall. Look how much his head is above the.
And
Above
light.
the-
I mean, he's not that heavy of a guy.
No, and from the door, the top
So,
of the door, he's got.
right now, we're getting an idea of
6
this room
inches.
because this is going to be a focus of some things later. You can also see he leaves the door wide open. Probably not a good idea. Shows that he's not really paying that much attention to what he's doing right now.
So then,
Oh,
okay.
that guy is much shorter.
One
Yeah,
thing that I
that
also
guy
think
is-
is
that
interesting
is not the same guy.
how heavy the clothes that some of the people are wearing.
Look at the doorway.
I'm going to
I can
explain
see
why
up on
that's
top.
relevant in a minute.
So
One thing that the
how did it
timeline
go?
didn't talk
Because the
about
guy
really
closing
was
the
anybody
door
else that was
was the
involved here, or
same guy.
anybody else that was on the floor. The way that
So I wonder why this guy doesn't mention this. Is this even the same guy? Because this guy, unless he's wearing flats now, and he had big boots on, that guy's a lot taller. Okay, now conspiracy.
correctional
theories.
officer just came from
let's
that
go,
area.
conspiracy
He's going
guys.
up into
I
this
mean, look at
area,
his
right,
head. Look at his
which
head
I
to
just
the
call
door.
room
top of the
46 because
door
that's the number
jam.
on the door.
Pay
It's
attention
one of those
to
areas
the
where you have to
time.
call to get in.
When,
And the
when
time.
He
he
looks a
comes
little bit
to
rushed.
close the door,
I don't think that's anything
that guy-
suspicious. Some people are just like that when
Okay.
it comes to opening doors that you have to call to
Well,
get
they
to
cut
get
it. You
unlocked
can
and that
see
sort of
that they
thing.
cut
So right
And
now
then
we're
that
getting an
different guy
idea
come out.
of this room because this is going to be a focus of some things later.
Goes in at 12:02.
You can also see
12:02.
he leaves the door wide open. Probably not a good idea. Shows that he's not really paying that much attention to what he's doing right now.
So now that's the same guy.
Yeah, comes back 10 seconds later, shuts the door.
Okay, but no, it didn't. Okay,
Right? Isn't
Yeah.
he shutting the door?
he's getting ready to close the door, but look how they cut. See?
Oh, and then they cut about 30
One thing that-
seconds, about 35 seconds. A minute 35,
Yeah.
actually. And then got to this guy.
And then this
who
guy
is not
comes
the
out.
same guy.
I also think
I
is
don't believe
interesting
that
is
is the same man.
how heavy the
No.
clothes that some of the
No.
people are wearing. I'm
Why
going to
that guy
explain
doesn't
why
say
that's
this?
relevant in a minute.
Yeah.
One thing that the timeline didn't talk about really was anybody else that was involved here or anybody else that was on the floor. The way that it reads when you go back to the 2019 timeline is
Yeah, I remember that. But basically, the way Bill Barr said it was that guards come in and were sleeping all night. You know, they just slept. They just come in and slept. Of course, they were all pulling double duty. You know, and we're shy on guards. Don't have enough guards, and these guys were pulling a double shift, and They're carrying on, and they slept right through it. It didn't do anything,
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, let's look at that again, because that is odd. That a minute. Now they don't say anything about the minute. What, 30 seconds? You say?
Yeah.
We're getting an idea of this room because this is going to be a focus of some things later. You can also see he leaves the door wide open. Probably not a good idea. Shows that he's not really paying that much attention to what he's doing right now.
Well, it shows that you're not paying attention, that the same guy comes back to close the door, and then they cut it and have another guy come out.
Yeah, that's definitely a different man.
One thing that I also think is interesting is how heavy the clothes that some of the people
And he
are
just
wearing.
seems like he's just
I'm going to
throwing
explain
stuff in
why
there.
that's relevant.
Like
in
he's
a
not
minute.
throwing it in there far.
One thing
so
that
I
the
don't even know what
timeline
this
didn't
room
talk about
is.
really
It might
was anybody
be
else
their,
that was involved.
It might be their room, their locker room or their
Yeah.
change room.
But it
that's
seems
not
odd
the
that he's
same
just
guy.
But he's just throwing stuff on the floor,
Yeah.
basically.
And it might be their uniforms.
Yeah, maybe they got a pile there, but
And that could have been clean uniforms, or that could have been dirty uniforms.
yeah.
Something that might be their locker room.
Well, that's not the same man.
It's definitely not the same man. Definitely.
Yeah.
Not.
I'm surprised he doesn't mention that. This guy's
Yeah.
at least maybe 4 or 5 inches shorter
Yes. Yeah.
and heavier. Yeah, I don't know why he doesn't. For a guy being he's an investigator and all this, he sure doesn't mention that.
Right. But see, and if you go back to what Dan Bongino was saying on Fox and Friends, that they got the video. They're going to show the video. And you could see clearly that no one was in his room. No one went up to his cell.
You can't even see it, so. If you're showing this video, that ain't going to help.
That's the video that they released.
Well, that's not going to help. That doesn't tell you anything. All I saw was him walking by with 2 guys.
Yeah.
Okay, he was alive at that moment. Okay, that I can see. But as far as I know, them 2 guys didn't go down there and strangle him in his cell and left. I mean.
Yeah. I don't get that. I don't.
No, I don't.
How they figure that this is going to justify him committing suicide. We're going to show
this
you
isn't gonna
a
get it.
video of this.
No,
that has nothing to do with his cell, nothing to do with his cell block. but we're going to release this information and prove to you that he committed suicide.
Okay, I'm not convinced. Okay.
Yeah,
Let me let the record show. This is.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on top of a balcony looking over.
That's exactly
looking
what.
over everything. Yeah.
And apparently, I don't know, but like I said, if that's their locker room, then
you need
for some reason, I would think that this is where the public comes in, or the guards come in to do their work, to go to work, is what I would say that balcony is.
If that's your locker room, okay, I'm just.
Yeah.
I don't know prisons, but you have to call someone to let me in the locker room.
That you wonder that too.
I don't know. I just.
Yeah.
Questions, I mean, just
But if
I
you
don't know.
look
And maybe
too-
that's the way it is in prisons. You got to call somebody to open every door. I'm
Right.
not sure.
Well, maybe so, because then it looked like he was fumbling for keys, and looked like he may have unlocked the door himself. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
So he makes
From
the
that
phone
area.
call.
He's going up into this area,
with a drink in
which
his
I just
hand?
call room
Is that a
46
drink
because
in
that's
his
the number
hand?
on the door.
No,
It's one of those
no,
areas
he's
where
just
you have
waiting
to
on
call to
it.
get in. He looks a little bit rushed. I don't think that's anything
Then he
suspicious.
puts,
Some people
and
are
then
just
he
like that
reaches
when it
down.
comes to
He's
opening
digging
doors.
something out of his
You have to
pocket.
call
Oh, yeah,
to
he's
get
looking.
unlocked and that sort of thing. So
He's looking and.
right now we're getting an idea of this room because this is going to be a focus of some
can't
things
see it
later.
around him.
Yeah.
Oh no, he put something in. Yeah, he unlocked it himself.
You can also see he leaves the door wide
He
open.
unlocked it himself.
Probably not a good idea. Shows that he's not really paying that much attention to what he's doing right now.
This guy, Mr. Investigator,
Cool.
I'm not subscribing to you because you're not doing
Yeah.
a very good job.
Right. Yeah. And no one talks about that minute and a half cut there. They
Yeah.
talk about the minute.
Yeah.
They don't talk about this. What happened there?
What happened there? exactly. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
We haven't solved anything, but
right.
we're just asking more questions.
Yeah. I mean, you would like to know what is on the list. I mean, but at the same time, you're never going to see that. What the list?
No, I don't think so.
Even the people that we trusted isn't going to release
Obviously,
it.
they're not going to release it neither.
Because and they say that MAGA is really upset, and that's the reason why Trump said, "Here, let's go after the grand jury testimony. Let's get a judge. This will throw them off of our scent for a while.
Yep.
They'll be, hey, look, we can't do anything about that. The judge, liberal judge, wacko judge,
That just doesn't look good. It's not a good look.
Right.
I mean, just like Megyn Kelly said, they talked about, we're going to release this. When we get in there, you're going to know everything. You're going to know everything. And here we are 6 months into the administration.
And they're still
stonewalling us and telling us this is going to take years to go through the files. And we want to make sure we get this right. And we're hoping you'll forget all about this in 2 years. And we'll be... in a new campaign, and we can move on from this.
We're going to have to worry about Republicans keeping the House.
Yes.
The Senate.
Yeah. So
all this, and there. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Why does he think that the public is falling for them doing the investigating and making sure that they do the right thing and get the right information out? With that, Dan or Cash, that's all been taken care of.
Because they've been told. Tom, they've been told not to release it. I guarantee you, and I'm sure it came, I'll say it, I think it came from the president. I think he said, don't release this.
Right. Yeah.
This could ruin a lot of lives, a lot of mine included, maybe.
Right.
And he just...
Allegedly
on the list. But, I mean, he's got the power over those people.
Right.
Basically, and so you got to think that's where it's coming from.
Right.
And
okay, but
we're not.
Much.
Well,
it's just too much to believe that Cash and Dan go on Brett Baer, say there's nothing. He committed suicide. There's nothing. And then the next day, Dan doesn't show up for work, and now he's
thinking about
talking about resigning. Now him and Bondi got into it. Now he's thinking about resigning, and then now you piss Cash off, so now he's thinking about resigning because but there's nothing here, folks. There's nothing here. That's the thing that gets you.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
and that's how you lose faith in the political parties, either one.
I think
you just kind of
right because
and like you said, there's reason. Joe Biden could have released it too, but he didn't neither. So you watch my back, I'll have your back.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and now you see that Trump is suing the Wall Street Journal for billions. I thought they said it was either $10 million or $10 billion because they put he apparently wrote Jeffrey a letter and had some sexual comments and things to the letter. And they of course, I don't guess they have the letter, but Trump says that they suing. So now there's a big fight going on with that now.
Well, that way you can throw everybody off the set.
Yes.
I'm going to start suing other people.
Right.
I don't know. We're
not
going to see it, and even when we see it, we're probably not going to believe half of it anyway.
Right.
We're like, this has been doctored. Okay, they didn't put everybody on the list because this is what they were holding.
Sure.
This.
Yeah.
What the hell? There's nothing here. What the hell were they holding it for?
These people, like Bondi giving those influencers the files that has already been released. Here are these people thinking, woohoo! Look at me. I'm important. I get to see documents and stuff that you don't get to see. And then, wait a minute, all this has been released already.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And that's could be the file, or the list, the client list.
Yeah.
Well, hell, we've heard all about this guy. Bill Clinton, even Bill Gates, understanding that allegedly, that's why Melinda divorced Bill, was because he was spending too much time with that guy. So, but I and then you seen that awkward interview with Bill Gates about Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh yeah.
And well, he's dead.
Yeah.
And so shouldn't go down that or do that or something.
Yeah. Thank God the dead can't talk from the grave. Thank God.
Yeah. So, but it's just, I don't know. We will be in suspense and keeping our eye out for it, because it is a hell of a mess. And to think the people that there's a list, release the list. What are you hiding? Bring that information out. Release those documents. Get that file out to everybody. Get it out. We got to have it. We want it. We got to have it. It's our right. And then they get into power, and then it's, well, Jesus Christ, folks, you ain't going to believe this, but there isn't a list.
Well, you're right. I don't believe this. You're right. And like I said, when they do release, they'll release something just to get you off my ass.
Yeah.
But you're going to look at it and go, what in the hell were you hanging on to this for?
Right.
There's not enough here to
it's never going
piss
to
in a
be
pot.
done.
Yeah. And so
I just think that the people that are on the list can do a lot of damage to even Cash Patel, Bondi.
Yeah.
Can make them disappear.
Yep.
And they're like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I ain't
going down
with
this
that.
road. Yeah, we're not going to.
And then again, I look at it from the collateral damage part of it, on both sides. So the Democrats, Joe Biden didn't release the information, because if Trump was on that list, if Trump, any evidence at all, video, logs on the plane, any of that, which I doubt Trump would be on the plane because he has his own.
Sure. Yeah.
But anything that could have tied Donald Trump to Epstein, in which there were videos showing
there
them
are
together.
videos out there. Yeah, I mean.
But Trump said that once he realized the creep that he is, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago and never had any more to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but if there's anything that they could have used as a negative towards Trump, they were going to use it.
Yeah.
Joe was going to release that information.
Yeah.
They were going to release that, get that out. But I think that the collateral damage is that, okay, but you get Trump, look at all these guys that are going to go down.
Well, we're going to drag these people in too.
They're going
if
to
that's
go
what
down.
you're going to do down that road. So we better have an understanding of, you're not going to release it. We're not going to release it. We'll drag this out as long as we can.
And now Trump is in that boat.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at all of these Democrats that I can burn. I can burn them. But collateral damage is I'm going to have to take myself down with them. And I think that's what's going on.
I think you're right.
Why it's not being released.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Mr. Zig. We tried to figure it out.
Sorry, Jeffrey.
We're
trying to save you, Jeffrey, but
Yeah. So, all right. Well, everybody, have a good day, and we will see you later next time. Thank you.